What's up, Play Sports Gamer here, and I got a video on Frank Reich and the real reason why he got fired. Frank Reich didn't get fired because it was a 1-10 record. He didn't get fired because of the locker room. He got fired because of this quarterback in these highlights. Bryce Young did not develop at all. Bryce Young is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league this year, and this is why Frank Reich is fired. And to be honest, he wanted CJ Stroud in the draft, but the ownership wanted Bryce Young. So Frank Reich was fired for this reason we've seen here in these highlights. Bryce Young. He was the offensive coordinator with Chargers when they were in San Diego. Then most notably, he was the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles when they went to the Super Bowl against the Patriots. He was highly regarded as a quote-unquote offensive guru and a development of quarterbacks. At that time, they drafted Carson Wentz, and Carson started on fire, and he was also going towards the MVP season until he got hurt. That's when Nick Foles came in and led the Eagles to the Super Bowl victory. Then he went to the Indianapolis Colts as a coach. He had some success, went to the playoff a couple of times, tailspinned in a hurry, and he got fired. And I don't think I was right to fire him, but he got fired nevertheless. Then Carolina scooped him up, and he started with Carolina this year. So I know why Carolina hired him, thinking he could turn Bryce Young into an NFL caliber quarterback. Since he's done it before, he's worked with Phillip Rivers and the Chargers, Carson Wentz, Nick Foles, like I said, the Eagles, and they were pretty solid quarterbacks. And on the Colts, he started with Luck for 1 year, then went to Rivers, Wentz again, and ended with Matt Ryan, which was a disaster. So the Carolina Panthers thought they could hire Reich and he could develop Bryce Young. So we got clips from an article here that explains all this. In the Reich hiring. Sunday's performance left the Panthers 30th in NFL in total offense and 30th in passing yards per game. That didn't bode well for Reich, who was hired in January for his offensive prowess. Reich also was hired to bring along rookie quarterback Bryce Young, the number one pick of the 2023 draft, after Carolina traded 2 first-round picks and wide receiver DJ Moore to Chicago Bears to move from 9th to 1st. Young ranks 29th in the NFL in total QBR with a rating of 32. He also ranks near the bottom of the league in passer rating at 74.9 and has been sacked 40 times, tied for the 5th most for a player through his first 10 games since sacks were first tracked in 1963. McCown, along with Reich, was responsible for developing Young, which never happened. Look for Caldwell in his new role to play a big role in that as former offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. I've seen a few of the games. Bryce Young is absolutely horrible. Horrible quarterback. He can't throw. He's not that quick. I mean, he's got semi-quickness, but he's not that quick. I am guaranteed that the Carolina owner, Tepper, is not happy with the Bryce Young pick. And I have an article clip later in this video saying that he stands by with the pick in the draft, but deep down, no way. If you look at Stroud in Houston, actually could pass the ball and is a good decision maker. He doesn't have much interceptions. It's hands down Houston got the better of the quarterbacks. And this brings me back to Trey Lance trade that the 49ers did, trading all those picks to get the number 3 pick in the draft, to draft Trey Lance. This is the same thing. Carolina sending all those picks to get to the number 1 and picking Bryce Young when they should have picked CJ Stroud. It is a franchise-defining bad pick for the Carolina Panthers. And they have a bunch of bad decisions. I don't know why they get rid of Christian McCaffrey. I'm glad he did to the 49ers, but I don't know why that happened. Frank Reich got fired because Bryce Young didn't develop at all. He's the same from the game 1 through the last game. He makes the same mistakes. He can't pass. The play calling wasn't suited to Young, I guess. This is why Frank Reich got fired. So here's another clip article on Frank Reich that I want to read. Reich was signed to a 4-year deal in January. The Panthers will owe him about $25 million. So he could just sit back and relax and collect that money, which is good for him. I want to say that I believe there is strength and character of leadership in that locker room that is at such a high level and so strong that there's no doubt in my mind that there's a foundation for all the success that this team is going to have, Reich told the Observer. This ends in an extremely disappointing fashion, but I'll always be a Panthers fan. Reich went to 4 Super Bowls as a player with the Buffalo Bills, which he was primarily backup. As a coach, he won the Super Bowl with the Eagles after the 2017 season, which was the offensive coordinator. In 2017, Reich helped Carson Wentz go 11-2 MVP caliber numbers before a season-ending injury, and Nick Foles became the Super Bowl MVP in a 41-33 victory over the Patriots. He also worked with future Hall of Fame quarterback Phillip Rivers and then San Diego Chargers and the Colts. So this ends Reich's tenure with the Carolina Panthers. It's going to be a few years before they actually start contending. If they just made a different pick, they could have been where Houston is right now, but they didn't. So here's a clip on what the owner said. Tepper, the Carolina Panthers owner, had no real explanation of why the Panthers have 6 consecutive losing seasons since he took over the team after having 4 of the 5 playoff appearances before that, including an NFL best 15-1 record and a trip to Super Bowl in 2015. The team's record under Tepper is 30-63, second worst to only the Jets since 2018. Asked whether he needed to reevaluate how he does business, the NFL's second richest owner with a net worth of $20.6 billion said, "Trying to make things better is what you always try to do. Obviously, that record is not good enough. There's no hiding it. It is what it is. That record is not good enough. We're going to self-reflect and make it better." He's probably got a bad record because of the hiring practices. Usually these billionaires that just buy teams because they have the money don't know how to run the team, and so they make dumb decisions. Ask Dan Snyder in Washington. As we go on, multiple league sources told ESPN the team is expected to go after offensive-minded coach. Detroit offensive coordinator Ben Johnson was the team's top choice in January, before he opted to stay with the Lions another season. After admitting in January that at Reich's introductory news conference that he made a mistake by hiring Matt Rule, Tepper wouldn't address what his mistake was in hiring Reich, whose offense was ranked near the bottom of the NFL almost every category. I'm not going to get into individual sort of things. You guys can speculate as to that. But we just moved on Monday, and that's that. But Tepper did acknowledge the frustration of the Carolina fan base, many who sold their tickets to games against the Minnesota Vikings and Dallas Cowboys to make Bank of America Stadium look like a home game for the visiting team. And I was part of that. When the San Francisco 49ers went to Carolina, I went to that game, and it was like a home game for the 49ers. There was so many 49ers fans. I bet any money 70% of the people at the game were 49ers fans. It was like the best thing ever for me because it was so awesome seeing all those 49ers fans at the stadium in North Carolina. But as for Frank Reich, I really don't know if you're going to get another job. He's definitely not going to get a head coaching job anytime soon. Offensive coordinator, I don't know either because he got fired when he was a San Diego Chargers offensive coordinator, and they had a lot of talent on that team, and they were actually near the bottom rankings in the offensive categories when he was fired. He had some success with the Colts, but he got fired again. Like, how many times do you get fired before you just stop? There possibly could be a team out there that is in desperate need of some type of offense, and they could hire him as an offensive coordinator, but I don't really see that anytime soon. He could just sit back, collect his $25 million, and actually relax for the rest of his life. You know, football players and coaches, they just can't stop being a coach or a player. So maybe we'll see Frank Reich again. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and please subscribe and like this video. Thanks. See ya.